Good day, St. Maarten. I'm Yesenia Lázaro.
And I'm also Lewis.
And welcome back to another edition of St. Maarten NEWSDESK.
Brought to you by TV15.
We bring the latest and most important stories around the island and beyond.
It's the end of the week. We want to get into the weekend, but before that, let's check out these headlines. Let's dive into our top headlines.
Attempted robbery leaves man shot in Ebenezer. Police are investigating an attempted robbery in Ebenezer estate that left one man wounded late Tuesday night. Just after 10:30 p.m., officers responded to multiple emergency calls and arrived to find a male victim suffering from a gunshot wound to his leg. According to preliminary reports, the man was attacked by two unknown assailants who tried to rob him. During the struggle, the suspect fired at the victim before fleeing the scene. Ambulance personnel rushed the injured man to the St. Maarten Medical Center, where he is receiving further treatment. The St. Maarten Police Force is urging anyone with information to come forward by contacting their main line at 542-2222 or the anonymous tip line at 9300.
Court backs Justice Minister's stance on early release. The Joint Court of Justice has upheld Minister of Justice Natalie Tacklin's strict and consistent approach to early conditional release of inmates. In a ruling delivered on September 25th, the court dismissed an appeal from an inmate, making it clear that early release is not a right, but an exceptional measure allowed only under specific legal conditions. The judge noted that the minister applies the policy fairly, giving priority to inmates nearing their regular release dates and always guided by objective criteria. Minister Tacklin welcomed the decision, saying it confirms that the process is careful, impartial, and aligned with the law. She stressed that requests for early release are reviewed with input from probation services and prison authorities, ensuring fairness and legal certainty. The court also supported the minister's position on electronic monitoring, noting that it may be used only as a special condition, not as a substitute for serving a prison sentence. The ruling reinforces that early release remains a control tool, not an entitlement, and safeguards equal treatment across the justice system.
Transport Inspectorate steps up enforcement ahead of high season. The Inspectorate of Economic and Transport Affairs is stepping up enforcement in the passenger transport sector, with fines already surpassing last year's total. By September 2025, fines had reached nearly $14,000 compared to just over $12,000 for all of 2024. Officials say the increase shows that active enforcement leads directly to better compliance and fairness in the sector. Department Head Lucian Wilson emphasized that the goal is not just issuing penalties, but ensuring safe, transparent, and reliable services for both the public and visitors. Section Head Brittany Van Heiningen added that extraordinary police officers must actively enforce the law, not just hold authority in name. With more officers now deployed and a crackdown on illegal operators underway, the inspectorate warns that enforcement will only intensify heading into the busy tourism season. Complaints related to passenger transport can be reported via email at teat.trans@stmartengov.org or by WhatsApp at 542-3182. 4 Caribbean nations have torn down the walls of work permits and visas. Could this be the first real step toward regional unity?
A new day begins. The sun rises over St. Maarten, bringing new energy, new possibilities. This island was built on resilience, progress, and the strength of its people. Our connection is what moves us forward. It links our communities, our businesses, our families. From the heart of the island to the shores beyond, we've connected St. Maarten. From every street To every home, this network was built for St. Maarten by St. Maarten hands. Connection isn't just about signals, it's about people. This is your island and your network recharged. Proudly local, we're here for today, tomorrow, and every milestone ahead.
Mizzy with a Sunshine Report, straight out of Sunshine City, St. Maarten, bringing you the warmth and the sunshine you need to kickstart your day. So let's dive into today's forecast and see how the skies are treating us. Don't forget to follow NEWSDESK on Facebook for your daily Sunshine Report. So as you enjoy the rest of your day, stay safe, stay friendly. Sunshine.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to remember to help keep you and your family safe. If you're not in an area that is advised to evacuate and you decide to stay in your home, plan for adequate supplies in case you lose power and water for several days and you're not able to leave due to flooding or blocked roads. This hurricane season, make a family emergency communication plan. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Maarten. The Ministry of Vromi, Department of Infrastructure Management, together with the Police Department KPSM, is making changes to traffic on a section of Candegita Street and Manzanella Steak, Phillipsburg. The Candegita Street from the intersection with Percy LaBega Street to Manzanella Steak will now be a one-way street. Inbound traffic can enter Candegita Street from Percy LaBega Street and drive straight ahead or turn left into Manzanella Steak. Outbound traffic leaving town on Candegita Street must make a right turn onto Manzanella Steak. Entry further into the Candegita Street will no longer be permitted. Outbound traffic exiting Manzanella Steak onto Walter Nisbet Road can either make a right or left-hand turn. The Ministry of Vromi, Department of Infrastructure Management, and the Police Department would like to thank the public for their attention to this change. Please follow the new traffic rules and signage and drive safely.
Cuchi Fortune, sentenced to 30 years for murder. In Guadeloupe, Kathron Cuchi Fortune has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for the murder of Angelique Charvier. The Assize Court in Bastère delivered the verdict on October 1st, requiring Fortune to serve at least 20 years before he can be considered for parole. The court found him guilty of voluntary homicide by a majority of jurors, handing down the maximum penalty allowed for the crime. Prosecutor Elodie Rouchous underscored the brutality of the killing during the trial, while witness testimonies consistently placed Fortune with the victim shortly before her death. A 15-year-old witness also testified about being assaulted by him. Despite Fortune's denials, the court was not convinced of his innocence. He remained silent as the sentence was read. His lawyer has already announced plans to appeal the ruling.
Prime Minister Mercelina remarks that government to shift from renting to buying offices. The Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Luke Mercelina says government will begin moving away from renting office space and instead start acquiring its own buildings. Speaking at Wednesday's Council of Ministers press briefing, Mercelina described the change as an essential step toward building long-term assets for the country. He noted that large sums are currently spent on rent, which drains the national budget without leaving value behind. The Prime Minister explained that he has started questioning all new requests for office space, encouraging departments to consider ownership instead. He emphasized that mortgages would create permanent assets that future generations can inherit rather than continuing to pay rent with no return. Mercelina framed the policy shift as a part of a broader vision to strengthen government finances and ensure that public spending generates lasting benefits for the nation.
IPKO 2025 ends with agreements on key kingdom challenges. The Interparliamentary Kingdom Consultation, known as IPKO, wrapped up this week in The Hague with the signing of a list of agreements covering education, aging, and geopolitical concerns. Parliament President Sarah Westcott-Williams of St. Maarten stressed the importance of joint effort, noting that an aging population and shifting global power dynamics are pressing challenges shared across the kingdom. She also urged for timely sharing of information from the Dutch government. The agreements highlight commitments to improve vocational training, student success, and cooperation on climate change, migration, and regional security. Delegates also discussed the Council of State's advisory opinion on the Kingdom Charter's 70th anniversary, which emphasized constructive cooperation and balanced relations. Demographic change was another central theme, with experts pointing to the need for better healthcare capacity, preventative measures, and workforce participation. Delegations also met with the King, Willem Alexander, at Noord-Einde Palace, where they noted his strong engagement with Caribbean issues. The next IPKO is scheduled for February 2026 in Aruba. As the Caribbean opens its doors to free movement, will opportunity or challenges define the road ahead? Next.
Let's put everything on the table. People always give their opinion, and you can either take it or crunch it. Let them judge. We give in to the most irresistible flavor. We devour every nugget that falls in our hands, especially when it's our crunchy fried chicken. And let the crumbs fly if needed. Let them keep judging. We'll keep indulging. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
You could talk to your family, talk to your friends. Affordability and convenience. Community connection, that makes sense. Reliability with experience. Hey, for every love, every adventure. Number one provider, they got ya. We tell them your data is always on. You can opt out whenever you want. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to roll. Control my data, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always connected every time, everywhere. Money low, but I never fair. I know, tell them it's there. Connectivity, that's what I like. Flexibility, that's what I like. Reliability, that's what I like. Tell them, sign me up for life. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Come tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to go. Come tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to road.
What is it?
Guess what? I got an idea. It's amazing. You see how we have the link sharing all everywhere?
QR link,
the
yeah.
QR link.
Yeah.
Raw Caribbean Channel app. Well, yeah. You're welcome. Put it in the back.
But it's not an app, though. It's not an app. App, you have to like download something to get it on your phone, take up space. It's not an app.
It's like an app. Therefore, it can be an app. So, it's an app. Raw Caribbean TV app. Say it with me, Al. Come on.
It's not an app, though. All you got to do with that, it's a link. You take the link, you hit the bookmark, you say add to home screen, and so it shows up like an app icon. But it's not an app though.
Are you a real person? It is an app because you get to watch all the programs from Raw Caribbean at one place. It is an app.
I don't know how to explain this to you, but factually and technically, it's not an app. Kind of like we do the news, facts,
Yeah.
and you do that thing you do.
Whoa.
Point being, you just go to the QR, you hit bookmarks, and you hit add to home screen, and then you can have the link to, let's give it another name.
The app.
You want to call it the app?
Raw Caribbean TV app.
Jess.
Yes.
Jess, please, give some sense, Jess. Jess.
It's kind of like an app.
That's why she gets the big bucks.
It's not an app, though. It's not a app. What the It's not a app.
You kiss your mother with her mouth? My God. Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Yes.
It's not an app, though.
Good day. Today, we take you beyond the headlines into a story that could reshape the Caribbean's future. For decades, regional leaders have spoken of integration, of citizens moving freely across borders, sharing skills, and building together. This week, that vision came closer to reality. Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines have officially opened their doors to one another, allowing their citizens to live, work, and stay indefinitely without visas or work permits. But what does this really mean for the people? And is this the beginning of a truly united Caribbean?
Thank you, Jess. The announcement came with quiet ceremony, but its impact already being described as historic. On October 1st, the Free Movement Agreement among 4 CARICOM nations took effect, giving their citizens an unprecedented right, the ability to live, work, and settle indefinitely in each other's countries. Barbados Prime Minister Maarten called it a long overdue step. Quote, "It is about allowing our people to move freely without hassle across our family of nations. We call ourselves pioneers, and I'm confident others will follow," end quote. That confidence is rooted in both principle and pragmatism. For decades, Caribbean governments have endorsed the idea of a single market and economy, yet on the ground, barriers persisted. Work permits, entry restrictions, and bureaucratic red tape that limited true mobility. Now, for nearly 500,000 citizens across these 4 states, those barriers are gone. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt of Dominica explained why that matters. Quote, "We cannot speak about solidarity and integration if our people cannot move freely. This agreement is a win-win for our growth and development," end quote. And it isn't only about the right to work. Citizens will now have access to public education, healthcare, and social services in each participating country. The goal is to create not just mobility, but opportunity, helping families, professionals, and students settle without fear of exclusion. Still, the vision is not without its challenges. Some have raised concerns about job competition, strain on housing, and pressure on already stretched healthcare systems. In Barbados, for example, where population growth has slowed and the workforce is aging, some residents wonder if an open-door policy might invite more people than the island can handle. Ambassador David Commichon, Barbados' CARICOM representative, pushed back on those fears. He argued that integration has long been part of the region's story. "We are virtually the same people with no animosities and very similar cultures. Once these 4 countries perfect the system, others will join. This is not about taking jobs. It's about building together," said David Commichon. Economists agree that mobility could help balance supply and demand. Barbados, with its aging population, gains younger workers. Dominica and St. Vincent, with limited job opportunities, see their citizens gain new options. Belize, meanwhile, benefits from opening a gateway between the Caribbean, and Central America. But there's also a bigger picture. The Caribbean has been losing many of its brightest minds to North America and Europe in what's known as the brain drain. Leaders now can hope that by giving citizens greater regional opportunity, the Caribbean can retain its skilled workers and strengthen its own economies. As Prime Minister Motley put it, quote, "In a world where many are building walls, the Caribbean must build bridges," end quote. Skeptics will know that this is not the first time such promises have been made. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States has already practiced a form of free movement for years, with mostly positive results. Yet some larger CARICOM members, including Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, have been slower to embrace the idea. That makes this four-nation pact both a breakthrough and a test. If it succeeds, if mobility strengthens rather than weakens these economies, leaders say the circle will expand. More countries will sign on, and the long dream of a borderless Caribbean could finally move from rhetoric to reality. For now, citizens of Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are the first to step into that future, whether they seize it as workers, students, or families in search of a better life. Their movement may mark the start of a truly united region.
So where is this journey headed? For many, free movement is a bold experiment that could redefine what it means to be Caribbean. For others, it's a test of whether unity can survive the pressures of limited resources and national interests. What is clear today is that history has been made. Four nations have torn down borders in favor of bridges, opening the door to greater opportunity and deeper integration. And the question remains, who will be next to walk through it? That's all the time we have for today's edition of St. Maarten News Desk.
Thank you for joining us. Remember, new episodes premiere every weekday morning at 8 a.m. on TV 15 and then across all social media platforms. I'm also Lawrence.
And I'm Justina Lassara, wishing you an amazing weekend. See you on Monday.
And don't forget all weekend to stay friendly, St. Maarten.